Hey guys, welcome back again from Tampa Bay. Just got done cutting the lawn for the rain start. Got a few hours here before they come back in. We're in our normal summertime pattern. So the afternoons are wet and humid. It's not bad right now. It's about 89 degrees, bright and sunny. So I'm getting in a ride. I'm super excited for my upcoming fall trip. Wish it was here, but I know it's going to come sooner than I think. Here we are halfway through August already. This month is flying by. I mean, super fast. I don't know what happened to the first 10 days of August. Just like yesterday, it was still July. Seriously. So my plans are actually, so far, exactly what I was thinking about in the last update. I've got all my hotels booked. And like I was saying, this is a backwards trip from how I usually do things. I like to leave things very open-ended, especially when I'm just taking a solo trip like this. My ideal plan is just to go out and do whatever I want, whenever I want, and when I get tired, book a hotel wherever I am. That's like really awesome to me. But because I'm doing Amtrak at the tail end of this trip, I do have the hard date. And it's only a 2-hour window of when I have to be in D.C., or just south of D.C. at the train station at the end of the trip. So I did have to schedule things at least on a whole day-to-day basis. Green means go. So I'm getting the boring part out of the way first, just driving or riding straight up all the way to South Carolina, just before the border with North Carolina. And I say boring because that's just hours and hours of straight, flat freeways. It's about 5 hours for me just to get to Georgia. And the freeways through Florida are just a lot of speed traps up in the northern part. And I just don't like burning through interstates. I know a lot of people love that. They'll deck out their bikes with, pigs out front, and they'll pretend they're riding gold wings, and they just have a blast. That is absolutely everything I hate about motorcycles. So I'm going to get through with that, as fast and early as I can. I always eat my veggies before my dessert. Know what I mean? Now, where I'm staying that night is pretty close to where I stayed on a previous trip a couple years ago. I don't know, 2-3 years ago now. Can't remember. But I'm not staying at the same place because, well, it was kind of a dive. It was cheap, but I'd rather, if all things being equal, stay in a nicer place. So the first town, now I got to remember the name of it, Seneca or Seneca. I'm not sure which way you pronounce it. But it's in a really good spot, same as the other place. From there, it's a decent ride getting up there. But once you're there, you're primed to go. So you get up in the morning, you're already right at Great Roads, just minutes away from the first route that I'm going to take, which is the Moonshiners again. But this time I'm not going to blast through it and just ride it straight. I'm going to stop for some photography because now that I've done it, I know it's not that exciting of a road, but it's nice because it's a good way to start your routes through the areas in preparation for definitely the more challenging roads. Holy squiddage, Batman. Flip-flops, no pants, leggings, no gloves, no jacket, no helmets, and under 21, which means that's illegal. They are required to wear helmets. Yow. Welcome to Florida. Yeah. Can't imagine why we have deaths every single day in the area. But hey, kids are retarded. What are you going to do about it? So after that, like I said, that first morning I'll be taking the Moonshiners, doing some photography around the area there. And then that first day I'll be doing everything around the Dragon. Well, I'm sure I'll do the Dragon a couple times just for fun. But what I want to do is get up there really early. I'm going to get out of the hotel at dawn. Because here's the secret to the Dragon. And I'm also planning this so that I'm at the Dragon on a Monday. Do not go there on a weekend. Do not go there mid-afternoon. It's absolutely crazy. Number one, you don't have clear roads to really have fun, okay? Number two, lots of cops. Number three, lots of idiots. It's just a bad recipe. So during that time of the day, you know what I like to do? Pull off at one of the stops. People watch. Hang out down at the inn. People watch. Look at bikes. Take some photos. Take some videos. If you have a drone, fly that around. You know, that's what you do during the heyday when everybody's out there being crazy. But I like to get there when there's nobody there. And I've successfully done it now a few times. And it's awesome. You're out there. I did one run completely alone. Zero traffic through the whole thing. Now, granted, it was raining a little bit, and people are just scared of the rain. But that worked for me. So that's my plan. That's as far as my actual plans go. And that's what I'm going to be doing for this whole trip. Have one or two major things in mind just to hit sometime during that day. But other than that, the only goal I have is to be on and off the road during daylight hours, which is a couple hours after and before sunrise and sunset. It's just no fun being around those roads in the dark. Been there, done that. And I have my stops picked out. Other than that, I'm going to stop where and when I want, shoot whatever I want, hike whatever trails I want. Probably not many, if any. I kind of learned that lesson hiking in gear. Dude, what are you doing? Fucking jackass. I knew he was doing something, that's why I was going around him. He's turning right from the left lane. People. So that first day, I'm going to hit the Cherahala, like I said, the Dragon, and some roads around there, because frankly, there are better riding roads out there than the Dragon itself. Seriously, I learned that thanks to the guys I went up with, was it last year? Just showing me all the crazy roads around there that nobody rides, you know? So that'll be that day. And I'll be staying that next night in Cherokee, which is awesome. I haven't stayed there in many years. Used to go camping a lot and spent a lot of time in Cherokee and campgrounds there, and just into the Great Smoky Mountain National Park camping. So Cherokee, I mean, it's totally different than I remember it when I used to go there. It's very built. It's way bigger. They got casinos now. It's a pretty big city right now. They even have a little downtown strip. But it was just it was like this, you know, back when I was spending time there. So that is going to be my launch point for day 2. So on day 2, it's going to start the Blue Ridge Parkway. And my only goal there is to make a good chunk of it. Probably 3/4 of the day spent riding, and the rest just doing photography, maybe stopping at a couple sites. And I'll be staying that night in Little Switzerland at a spot right off the parkway. It's very close, so I'm not wasting a lot of time. And then right around there is the Diamondback. And depending on what time I get there, I'll probably end up riding the Diamondback twice. It looks pretty fun, and it's relatively short, and it loops right back around to where I'm staying. So if there's enough time with daylight at the end of day 2, I'll hit it then, and then hit it again first thing in the morning on day 3. And I'm staying at kind of a little resort there. That was the most expensive one. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I think I paid $90 for that one. They're all $60 to $90 in this whole trip. I'm only at $770 so far. That's with Amtrak, with the bike fee, with everything, with all the hotels. So it's just plus gas and food and trinkets from then on. Not that I'm cheap. I'm not staying at the super cheap places, and I'm not doing any motorcycle camping. Frankly, that is out of the question. That's just not what I have fun doing. No offense to anybody that does, but I need AC, I need Wi-Fi, I need a comfy bed. I'm there for the ride and the photography, not just to get away and rough it. That's cool when you want to do that, but for this particular trip, that's not what it's about, so it doesn't work for me. So I'm staying at places that, number one, have to have good Wi-Fi and are close to my route. There are a number of places that were significantly cheaper, but they were, pushing 20 miles off the route. So that's a good half hour, 45 minutes or more, depending on where it is, what kind of traffic, out of your day. And that wasn't worth it to me. I'd rather spend a little more to be closer to where I want to be. So all these places are just right where I want to go, and that's perfect. So then the next day, I'll continue on, finish the Blue Ridge, again doing the same thing, just a whole bunch of riding and stopping and photography and all that kind of good stuff. And I'll end up staying that next night right at the end of the Blue Ridge in Waynesboro, which is the in-between point from the Blue Ridge and where it continues on to be the, oh my good, Skyway, oh my God, what is the name of it? I'm drawing a brain fart here. You know what I'm talking about. I'll put it up on the screen because I've got the car name in my head and the CPU name in my head, and I am just drawing a complete blank. Threadripper just announced this morning, so I've got CPUs on the brain. It's not Sky Lake Drive. Is it Skylane? Skyway? I can't remember. That is driving me crazy. Anyway, staying right there in between the two in Waynesboro. That's the only one that's just slightly out of the way, but it's only like 10 minutes. Big deal. And then that next day, I have to be at the train station, which is pretty much in DC, between 12 and 2. And that is a hard limit. You're not there. They take off without you. You can't load your bike. So, not chancing it. I know that I'm not going to be stopping anywhere along that drive because, well, frankly, it's not that exciting. It's a nice drive, but it's very casual. Doesn't even have turns like the Blue Ridge. All right, they're very slow sweepers. So there's nothing really fancy to see. The drive itself is really nice. It's right up on the ridge of the mountain, so you have views on both sides the whole way. And it will be on, let's see, that's a Thursday. So I don't expect any traffic. I'm expecting just to kind of have plenty of time to buzz through that. And I'll be able to judge from the previous day what things are going to be like to see how early I have to check out just to make that window. But I don't think it's going to be any issue. That first day when I did it backwards, I made it to the same point at like 4 in the afternoon. And I think I was on the road by 10 o'clock by the time they offloaded the bike. So that was only about 6 hours of the day. And if I reverse that, if I'm out of the hotel at 7, I think that'll be absolutely perfect. From then on, it's get on the train and load the bike somewhere, preferably around 2, as late as possible, so I'm not just sitting around the terminal. The train leaves at 4, and if I remember right, we'll be boarding about 3:30ish, and I'll just get into my room there. All you do is take on a couple carry-on bags. The rest goes on the bike, and then it's 19 hours, so it's an overnight trip back on down to the far side of Orlando, and from there I get in, I gotta remember now, I think it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon our time, well, same time zone, and then it's about a 2.5 hour ride depending on traffic. It could be as much as 4 because you have to go through Orlando and Disney and all that kind of good stuff, and it's on a Friday, so during rush hour on a Friday I'm expecting to probably be home by 7 or 8. I think that'll be a great trip. Well under $1,000 for 5 full days of riding and fun and adventure. Hopefully some really good photography. Knock on wood, no new tickets again. That's the only time I get them is going up north trips. And I was only doing something one time. Oh well. You take your lumps. Speaking of the popo, right there. So that's it, guys. Just wanted to fill you in. And yes, for those asking, this is a solo trip. I'm not opposed to meeting anybody for, say, a dinner to hang out, maybe have some cigars. I'll definitely have a whole bunch of cigars with me. But I am going to be riding alone. I definitely prefer to ride alone on these kinds of trips. So I'm going to have some fun here, continue on the ride, enjoy this beautiful weather. Hope you all are having a great day. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you next time.